Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Kind of still getting over yesterday when it comes to just being tired. You know, I'm not getting any younger. Was at our community building that we rent 15, 16 hours straight yesterday. Put on some medical training. It was a really good day for that. We had some people that had come in from out of state, a few different places. Some people from Texas, some people from Arkansas. They heard about what we're doing with medical training. They wanted to come up and do that. And so it was a really good day for that. We are working on next month starting our first responder training. Now, if you've paid attention at all, especially if you're over on locals, I talk more of details about what we're doing here on a physically local level. So if you go to the preparedhomestead.locals.com, you can join up to our members site. But anyways, this training that we've done so far is medical for first aid, stop the bleed, CPR, that kind of stuff. And it's a prerequisite class for people to move into getting first responder training. So we're starting that next month. That will be very exciting for us. Anyways, just tired, you know, up on my feet quite a bit yesterday, all day. So yeah, a lot of things are going on around the world, especially in the Middle East. You know, probably a lot of you may have not called it that way a year ago or so. Everyone was really concerned that things were going to happen and start happening in Ukraine and Russia, and stuff still could escalate there. I mean, there's definitely indication of that. Zelensky's trying to call up 500,000 additional troops in Ukraine. I don't know where that's all going to come from. Things with Poland and Finland and Russia are just continually heating up. There's stuff going on there. But it's not quite as intense right now as what's going on in the Middle East. The United States has formed a coalition force, naval force, there in the Red Sea area with, I believe, 10 other nations that are going to try to protect the shipping lanes from the Yemens. They have pretty much gone full-scale war for the most part, and they claim that this coalition force is going to do nothing, that they can take them on, that they have the capability. Now, of course, most everyone would laugh at that because it's Yemen and they're small and you know, they don't have, I mean, they got a lot of rockets. They got a lot of rockets and stuff and some ICBM, but ballistic missiles and things like that. But they're backed by the Iranians, and things are heating up a lot there. And the West, I think they desperately want to go to war with Iran. They want it to happen. And so a lot of stuff is heating up, not just with Yemen, but with Iran. Iran is putting together its own naval force, a combination of military naval ships and civilian vessels that will be equipped with something to make it a military vessel, but it'll be equipped in some way. And again, I get it. It's nothing compared to, you know, a U.S. naval carrier group or something like that. But don't underestimate the Iranians. I mean, they got a pretty decent military compared to the rest of the Middle East, and I think they could put up a good fight. I think it would be way different than when we went into Iraq. And so things are just, well, they're getting there. And it's going to cost, we're going to start seeing costs of everything. Already, since this has transpired over the last few days, oil prices have gone up, barrel oil, a little bit, because now everything has to be rerouted all the way around Africa. Nothing pretty much is going through the Red Sea, or at least a lot less is. That's putting a financial hardship on the Egyptians because something like a third of their income comes from that Suez Canal fees. And it just makes things move a lot faster. It's about a 3,000 mile extended trip, you know, extra trip to go all the way around Africa. So it's going to slow things down in the shipping world, which even though that may not directly affect us, because most of the stuff that comes to us isn't going around Africa, it's going to affect Europe, which then will affect us. I mean, we're so intertwined with the European economy and stuff. If something affects them, it'll probably eventually affect us. So this is heating up. But there's also something here on the home front that's heating up. Well, number one, apparently yesterday the Colorado Supreme Court ruled that Donald Trump can't be on the ballot in Colorado. Now, it could be overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court, but there's also a risk that the U.S. Supreme Court would not overturn it and could set a nationwide precedent. So that's a risky one. It's not just to get that ruling overturned. If the Supreme Court U.S. Supreme Court supported the Colorado Supreme Court, then it would set a precedence for the nation, and this could happen like domino effect. A lot of people saying it's the shot across the bow. It's the start of a potential civil war. I don't know. If it just stays there in Colorado, maybe it not. It's not like he was going to probably win Colorado anyways. But if it starts expanding and you start to see other states do this, it's possible. The big thing, though, the big thing that's happening is, once again, and it's only been a couple of weeks, but once again, it's being reported that we set a record yesterday for the amount of illegals crossing the U.S. border. Border Patrol estimates somewhere around 12,006 to 12,009 illegals crossed the U.S. border. The video footage coming out of places like Eagle Pass, Texas, and Lukeville, Arizona, absolutely apocalyptic, folks. I mean, I don't know that you could find a movie to be made that would look any worse than this. Thousands and thousands gathering on either side of the border. You look at the kind of the check-in camp places here on the U.S. side where they run them through. They're everywhere. It's absolutely apocalyptic, and I truly am not exaggerating. If you have not seen these images at the border, I don't believe I'm exaggerating one bit when I say it looks apocalyptic with the thousands that are coming across. Now, is this connected to what's happening in Europe and the Middle East? Well, some might say no. I think it is. I think it's all connected because it's all part of the plan. It's all part of the plan to destroy us from within and from the outside. And that's happening. We're watching our country fall. I don't know how to put it any other way. And some may disagree and some may take argument with me over that. But we are watching the United States crumble. The process has already begun. It's been going on for a while. And I don't know that if it's past the point of no return. I'm feeling that it is, but I could be wrong. I mean, I would certainly admit if I'm wrong. But that's what it looks like and it feels like. And when we're talking, within a week's time period, if this keeps up, if we maintain, because remember this, think of it this way. It was just a couple of weeks ago that they said, oh, we set this record, and it was, around 12,000 in one day. And then if you look between that point and now, it's been on average between 9,000 and 12,000 people a day still coming across. And then yesterday, there was even more, so set a new record. So based on the momentum of this, we're talking the potential easily for 80 to 100,000 people crossing the border a week. A week. We're getting into the numbers, and this is, hold up for a second, because I know a lot of you have already commented. I'm speaking of official numbers, okay? What really is crossing the border is probably a lot more, but let's just, for the sake of the argument, because we don't know any other number, let's just say that that's the real number. We're getting into the area of like 500,000, close to 500,000 people a month. 500,000 people a month. We're talking massive, major size city, like big cities. There's only a few cities in the United States that are 500,000 people or more. And that's the official numbers. What are the unofficial numbers? What's the real numbers? Probably already 500,000. I mean, if we're that close to 500,000, I believe it was last month or the month before, they were saying it was a record for the month, and it was close to 300,000. And since then, the daily count is just continually going up, 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 up. So we're getting close at this rate. Official numbers, we could be 500,000 within the next few months. And like I said, we probably have already surpassed that in actual numbers. This is related to everything else because it affects everything else. You know, the stuff that's going on in Iran and Yemen and Israel and Ukraine and Russia and Finland, and there's tragic things happening, and there's things that will have long-term repercussions, and there's things that will indirectly affect us. But for the most part, on a day-to-day basis, when Yemen, you know, the militias in Yemen strike a cargo vessel or something in the Red Sea, it's not directly affecting you. I mean, it may somehow, some way, eventually kind of have some ripple effect, but it's not directly affecting you. When we've got 12, 13, 15, 20,000 people a day crossing the U.S. border illegally, that is directly affecting you in every possible way. Not just from the physical sense of extra people in the country, potential criminals. I mean, we know statistically there are. I'm not saying they all are violent criminals. I mean, they're all criminals because they cross the border, but I'm making a distinction between violent criminals and just breaking the law by entering. But we know statistically that some are violent criminals. We know that some have to be, you know, some kind of terrorist intentions, all that kind of stuff. But it gets beyond that. It's overwhelming our already fragile system. You know, there's nowhere in America that you can say that, oh, the healthcare system in this area is really great and strong and can handle thousands more, or the emergency, you know, police and fire system can handle more calls, or the food supply system is so strong it could handle, you know, many times more people. That doesn't exist anywhere in America. In most places, it's just kind of on a knife's edge. And now we're dumping thousands and thousands a day into all that system. You know, more drain on this system, more drain on our social services, on our welfare, on our currency, on our wealth, on our health. There's absolute provable diseases coming across the border that we haven't seen in this country in decades. Everything. I mean, I could just go on and on about all the negative things that's happening by allowing tens of thousands a week coming across the border illegally, maybe tens of thousands a day. This is an absolutely massive, huge problem. I mean, like I said, it's just this constant buildup of more and more every day. And now we're seeing, you know, between 9 and 10, 11,000 a day, and twice in 2 weeks, over 12,000 officially in one day. We're beyond epidemic level problems, in my opinion. And while people don't like it, there's certainly reports in the news that people are upset about it and complaining. Well, nothing's being done to stop it. And at this point, their plan has been orchestrated so well. I don't know that there is any way to stop it next to just lining shoulder to shoulder troops along the border. And even if there was a desire to do that, we can't, because we're working on waging wars in Europe and in the Middle East and with North Korea and in Taiwan. I mean, we're like starting fires all over the world, and then depleting our ability to secure our own country. And if you don't think that's being done as a big orchestrated plan, I don't know what to tell you. We're watching this country burn, okay? I don't care if our military still is great and strong, and our dollar still is great and strong, and our supply chain and how much oil we're producing. I don't care about any of that really right now. What I'm telling you is that the fact that there's tens of thousands of people a day coming across the border illegally, bringing all kinds of problems into the country, regardless of whether they want to come here and just, you know, earn a living and do a good job or not. There's almost nothing else right now that matters as much, really. I mean, yes, cyber attack could happen. Yes, civil war could happen. You know, all these other apocalyptic theme type things could happen. But folks, we're talking massive amounts. I don't know that I don't know if history has ever seen anything like this happen. And I certainly can tell you that no nation in history that's ever had this much of an immigration problem illegally can sustain itself. You know, we're watching America's population be replaced. And if you're not getting prepared for even just this, I mean, you may think that everything else will work itself out, or it won't affect you, or it's not going to happen, or it's all just hype. This isn't hype. This is actually happening. This isn't preparing for a what if. You know, what if there's a cyber attack? What if there's a civil war? What if there was a nuclear war? There's no what if here. This is happening real time. You can get online. There's people I follow online that's on the border, and they're live streaming and filming pretty much all day long. I mean, you can just sit there, like, grab a bag of popcorn and a soda and watch it like live TV, pretty much. This isn't a what if. This is happening. And the amount of damage, even if today a new president or a new motivation happened, that they absolutely shut down the border, the damage that's been done thus far, I don't know how long it could take us as a nation to recover for it. And let's just assume that Biden doesn't get back into office and someone does and they shut it down. That's still almost a year. Imagine 9,000 to 12,000 a day for the next year. That's just unconscionable. I don't think any of us can really wrap our heads around that kind of number. And those are the very, very low ball official numbers. So you can probably double, maybe even triple that. And that's what's going to happen until he gets voted out of office, which probably isn't going to happen. You know, I mean, if the system's rigged before, why isn't it going to be rigged this time? And if he's not in office, it'll probably be someone way worse than him. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to petrify you in fear. I'm trying to kind of kick you in the pants for those that needs it. Not everyone does. I get it. Don't be offended. But some of you do. And we're watching multiple thousands of people a day cross this border illegally, and many with very harmful intentions. And you better get ready for it. They're going to end up in your community. There's no possible way. It's remote and kind of out of the way from the modern world as I live. I know that at some point they're going to trickle out here. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. There's no possible way, at the rate that this is happening, that you could say within a year or two or three that there's definitely going to be huge enclaves of the nation that there's not going to be any illegals in. They're going to be everywhere. You know, definitely more places, some more than others. But we're going to have to deal with it. And I don't know what that looks like, but I know that you need to be prepared. You need to be stocking up now, because the drain on our system alone is going to tell us that in months or a few years down the road, there's not going to be anything you can stock up on, because it's all going to be depleted. You need to be stocking and training and prepping and building community with people of like mind, so that when things really start falling apart, because of this issue and many more, you'll have others to kind of lean on. You need to be getting your houses in order, folks, and preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.